Hi staff, Zach and I wanted to take a few minutes of your time and give you a couple of videos that you can watch and refer back to as far as the SLO process is concerned. This is something that we will be talking about and referring to within morning PD time, but for the majority of you, you should be pretty set on this process. So here we go. Step one in this process is to decide what assessment you're going to be using for your SLO, your student learning objective over the course of the entire year. There are three different types of assessments. You can use a state assessment, that would be iLearn. You can use a benchmark assessment, that'd be something like ExactPath, Pivot, a STAR reading test, something like that, that is standardized and set by somebody who is not you, somebody from outside of the corporation, or you can use a classroom cumulative assessment, such as a final exam in a content area classroom. We've broken out here on this slide which assessment you should use based on what kind of a class that you teach. If you teach an iLearn connected class like language arts, math, or 6th grade science, that is probably going to be the best assessment to use to set your SLO and the easiest for you to do as well. You could also use ExactPath or a Pivot test. If you teach 6th through 8th social studies, 7th through 8th science, or any of the related arts courses, you could use a Pivot test, some departmentally created assessment, or your own individually created classroom assessment. Special education teachers should probably focus on the iLearn tests as well, or a standardized test such as ExactPath. Remember, the test that you choose should be the most standardized for your content area. Your SLO is going to be set based on how the students do on that test. Your targeted objective is going to come from that same assessment, just a specific piece of it, or from a totally different assessment altogether. We'll talk about that in more detail later. If you are making your own classroom assessment, that needs to be pre-approved with building administration before you just plunge right in and go ahead and do it. It's got to be aligned to course standards. Got to make sure you cover everything within that test when you give it as your SLO exam. Questions have to be at varying difficulty levels. Your rigor and complexity has to go up and down throughout the test, and content mastery should be set. So what is the level of score students could achieve on that test to show that they have mastered a full year of content knowledge and all of the standards from your class. There are some pre-approval forms. They're here on this slide. If you are creating your own test, you need to fill those out and turn those into your primary evaluator, who is either me or Zach. On this slide, you'll see some question starters that you could use in your assessments at all four of the different levels. There's level 1 descriptors, level 2, level 3, level 4. Use these as the starts to your questions, and you know what level of question you've put in your test. Zach's going to take you through step 2.